Hi, everyone. Brad and Pamela here, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday.
Today, we want to talk about something that quietly runs your life behind the scenes, and that's your nervous system baseline, which is all about understanding what's actually shaping your day-to-day experience of life.
So here's the big idea. Your repeated thoughts, long-held beliefs about yourself, other people, and the world, and your most familiar emotional state all train your nervous system what normal feels like. And whatever your nervous system decides is normal, it will work very hard to keep you there.
And that's true, even if there feels anxious, heavy, stuck, guarded, exhausted, or on edge. Because the nervous system's number one job is not happiness, it's predictability and survival. So, if you have spent your years thinking things like, I'm not good enough, something always goes wrong. I can't trust people. I have to stay on guard. Or something like, it's not safe to relax. Your nervous system goes, got it, and builds your internal operating system around that.
Yeah, and now layer emotions
Mhm.
on top of that. If your emotional home base is worry, for example, or frustration, or sadness, resentment, or fear, well, those emotions aren't just passing through,
Mm-mm.
they're literally conditioning your nervous system.
And over time, your body starts to treat those states as familiar and therefore safe, which is why some people feel uncomfortable when things are calm. They'll say something like, I don't know why, but I just feel restless. And that's not because something is wrong. It's because calm isn't your nervous system's normal yet.
So, all of this, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, creates what we call your nervous system baseline.
Mm.
That baseline becomes your default state of being. And here's where this really starts to matter. Your baseline doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you perceive, how you interpret,
Right.
and how you react.
Mhm. That is true. So if your baseline is stress and threat, you interpret neutral comments as criticism. You assume the worst before anything actually happens, and you might even stay braced for impact, even when life is being relatively kind.
Yeah. And if your baseline is like low self-worth, well, you minimize your needs.
Oh.
You overgive. You tolerate things you shouldn't. You hesitate to speak up. You sabotage opportunities because deep down, you don't feel you deserve.
And if your baseline is fear or perhaps mistrust, you'll pull away from connection and keep emotional walls up. You may even over control, and you struggle to relax into relationships.
True. And here's the part people don't love hearing at first, but it's incredibly empowering once it lands. Your nervous system baseline drives your behavior more than your conscious intentions.
Very powerful.
You can consciously want to be confident, but if your baseline is insecurity, your body will default to playing small.
It certainly will. And, and for another example, if you consciously want to be kind and your baseline is actually anxiety, Your body will keep on scanning for danger. You can consciously want to be healthy in a healthy relationship, but if your baseline is fear of abandonment or rejection, you're going to keep reenacting the same patterns with different faces. So people often say things like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I always end up here again? I know better, so why don't I do better? And the answer is because your nervous system is running an old program.
Yeah, and not because you're broken
Not at
or
all.
lack willpower or you're failing at healing, but because your body learned a long time ago what it needed to survive emotionally.
Mhm.
And it's still doing its job beautifully, faithfully, sometimes a little bit too enthusiastically.
Now, here's the helpful part, or the hopeful part. Your nervous system is not fixed. It is trainable. It is adaptable. You see, it is always updating based on new experiences, which means when you start gently changing your thoughts, when you begin to question old limiting beliefs, and when you allow yourself to feel and release stored emotions, or when you begin practicing to calm your body instead of pushing through stress, what you're doing is literally teaching your nervous system a new version of normal, a safer, calmer, and more expanded normal.
Yeah, and this is what we mean when we talk about raising your frequency or aligning with your highest version of you. It's not about pretending everything's fine or forcing positive thinking or bypassing your real feelings. No, it's about helping your body learn that you are safe now, allowing to relax and don't have to live in survival mode anymore.
Exactly. And as your baseline shifts, your reactions and choices change. Your tolerance for nonsense drops, and your clarity improves. Your relationships start to look different, and your health starts responding. Not because you tried harder, but because your internal environment finally changed.
So if you've been frustrated with yourself for not being further along, or for still feeling stuck in a pattern you should be over by now, we want you to hear this. Nothing has gone wrong.
Mm-mm.
Your nervous system has just been loyal to an old story, and now you're teaching it a new one. That's real healing, real transformation,
Mm-hmm.
because lasting change comes from helping your body feel safe enough to become who you really are.
That's so great. So, this week, instead of trying to be better or fix yourself, try something much more powerful. Begin to notice what your nervous system thinks is normal. Notice your default thoughts, your familiar emotional tone, and your automatic reactions.
Yeah, and when you catch them, just gently remind yourself this is an old baseline, and I'm learning a new one now. That simple shift in awareness begins to change everything.
It certainly does. And that's it for this Wellness Wednesday.
So bye for now.
Bye.